What is going on, my fellow YouTuberians? My name is Scrunt, and today we are back on some MX vs ATV All Out. Now, in this video, we will be discussing 5 vehicles that everyone wants to see in MX vs ATV All Out. So without further ado, guys, let's get it started with number 1, which is going to be the SANDRAIL. SANDRAIL made its first appearance in Unleashed, and then it did not ever come back into the series. I do not know why. I thought the SANDRAIL was actually pretty popular, and I personally loved using it. It was the only vehicle that I could really use to get through the hill climb challenges, because at that time I was just too young to really know what I was doing. But the SANDRAIL was definitely fun to just free roam in and do whatever, because it was like the buggies or the UTVs or whatever, where you could really just flip it over as many times as you wanted to, and as long as it landed on its tires, you could still go. I'd love to hear this thing and see this thing in like the 2018 graphics, 2018 audio. I think that would be amazing, because I personally have not seen one of these or heard one of these on like YouTube or real life or anything like that. So I think it would be pretty cool to have this back in the game, and it belongs in Emerald Key with the beaches and dunes that are there. This thing would feel right at home at Emerald Key, I think. But let's move on to number 2, which is actually a combination, and that is going to be planes slash helicopters. So in Unleashed, there were planes and helicopters, and much like the SANDRAIL, they did not make it out of Unleashed, so they didn't appear in any other MX vs ATV games, which was quite sad, because the plane was actually really fun to drive around in. It was kind of hard to control with the one stick, but now that we have the 2 analogs that we can use, I think the plane would actually be quite easy to control, and there are a lot of possibilities that could happen with the plane and also the helicopter for camera wise. I think for the helicopter, it would be best suited for the camera, just because it can be steady, I think, where the plane can't, and it can just hover, over a track or over a jump or something, while the plane, it always has to be in like constant motion. So you really, I guess you could get some good shots with it, but not as good as the helicopter, I think. Now, if I had to choose between only having the helicopter or the plane inside of All Out, I would definitely have to say the plane, just because the plane was a lot more fun to drive around in, and the helicopter was very slow. It didn't turn very good. Now, this all could be because, this is Unleashed. It's an original Xbox game. It's not meant to be flawless, but I just feel the plane would be a lot more fun to have in All Out. And if you were, riding around in free roam with 16 other players, and you look up and you see 3 or 4 of them in a plane riding by, going low, towards the ground or something, doing tricks in the air, like that would be pretty cool. And this game is called All Out, but we're not really going all out just yet. We only have 3 types of vehicles. We need some different types of vehicles, some vehicles that most people wouldn't really think to add into their game. So let's move on to number 3, which was actually my favorite on the list, and that is the MINIBIKE, or the pit bike. So this is a 50cc dirt bike, and it was a lot of fun to drive this. Out of all the vehicles that I recorded today for this list, the MINIBIKE was by far number 1, where I did not want to get off of it because I was having so much fun. Just the little wheelies that you can do, and how long you could hold them in Unleashed, and the little whips that you can do. I thought it was pretty funny, and this is a bike that would not be for races, it wouldn't be for anything serious. This would be strictly for having fun, free roam with your buddies or whatever. I mean, I guess you could do races with a mini bike as long as everyone else was on a mini bike, but if you were trying to be serious, obviously you wouldn't use it. But this bike definitely deserves to be in All Out, because we need more fun things to do in All Out. Like right now, it's just very serious, racing, and yeah, we do have free roam, but with just the 3 selections of vehicles, it's kind of getting a little boring. So I think the 50cc bike definitely deserves to be in the game. But let's move on to number 4, which is probably the most iconic vehicle that I see everyone wanting in the game, all over Twitter, all over YouTube comments, and that is the trophy truck. So I do apologize, I actually could not find my Reflex disc, so I couldn't get any footage from Reflex. This is once again on Unleashed, but I do know that Reflex did have the trophy truck, and I think that was the last game that the trophy truck actually appeared in for the MX vs ATV genre. But the trophy truck is much like the UTV, where you just go full throttle, hit jumps, see how far or how high up you can go, and as long as you land on your tires, it's perfectly fine. You could do 3 flips on the ground, and as long as you end up on your tires, then you'd be good. You're basically indestructible. And I think that's what was really kind of fun about the trophy trucks. And they also had a racing aspect to them, so you could take them on the track on like an open cross track or something, and you could have a lot of fun with those. I'd like to race the the trophy trucks against the, you know, turboed UTVs and see how they fare, you know, see how fast each one goes. But let's go on to our fifth and final vehicle on this list, and that is two-stroke four-wheelers. So I don't know if a two-stroke four-wheeler was in Unleashed. I believe it was. I think there were like one or two-strokes four-wheelers in Unleashed, but I am not quite sure. I probably should have, you know, looked that up while I was while I was in Unleashed and actually taking the footage. But this was the kind of first two-stroke four-wheeler that everyone knew about. It was a hidden vehicle on Devil's Playground and Alive. It was turboed, and people think, you know, it was a two-stroke as well. It's got that Banshee sort of look. I think we need two-stroke four-wheelers. You know, it's been far too long since we've actually had one, and I think this game is long overdue for it. Even if it wasn't, you know, an official Yamaha two-stroke or whatever, a Yamaha Blaster or a Yamaha Banshee, even just the THQ Nordic or the Rainbow Studios version of a two-stroke four-wheeler, I think would be well received all around, because this is what people have been asking for ever since basically day one of this game. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I really hope that you did enjoy, and if you did, make sure you drop a like, and also remember to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. See you guys on the next one. Peace.